Hi everyone, it's Margaret Manning here and welcome to Mornings with 60andMe. Today is Sunday, it's August 28th. And welcome to Sunday. I always love Sundays. It's a nice quiet morning, everything's shut, streets are quiet, and I've got my cup of tea here this morning. I actually have green tea. As you know, green tea is one of my favorites, and I was doing some research this morning about tea, especially in Japan, where green tea is, like the classic tea. And in fact, more tea drinkers in Japan than coffee, but it's more than just a tea. It's really a way of life. And I was reading that tea was introduced into Japan from China around 700. And, at first it was just a nice nourishing drink. And then they started having these sharing parties. And these were where people would get together, have cups of tea, and they'd have to guess kind of what the tea was. And it was just this little mystery, little game that people would play as a social exercise. And then it turned into the more formal tea ceremony, which is practiced in Japan all over the country. And if you've ever experienced a Japanese tea ceremony, it's really remarkable. It's a very intimate and one-to-one event. Someone prepares a tea for you. You admire the bowl. You listen to the sounds. You experience the making of the tea, the boiling water. It's very, very beautiful, and it's a moment where you look at each other and show gratitude. So I think that tea is kind of symbolic for our 60andMe community, and it's a way that we can get together every morning and just share that moment together. So welcome to Mornings with 60andMe. And I would ask you, if you love joining us for these morning shows, please tell a friend. Just send an email or send a link to today's news and let them know that you're enjoying it and invite them to come along. And so if you want to join, go up to 60andme.com/mornings, and then you can sign up and receive the news first. So welcome to Mornings with 60andMe. Let me bring you up to speed on some of the things that are going on in the news today. And a lot of it is a follow-on from what we've reported this week. It's been quite a sad and horrific week in some ways. But in Italy, of course, they're now declared yesterday, a national day of mourning. And the funerals have begun for the over 210 people it's 290 people who have died in the earthquake. And yesterday there was a state funeral, a kind of a joint funeral where there may be 20 caskets, and people from the villages were standing side by side with the politicians from the French government who came to show their respects. And it was just such an emotional moment. A man who was burying his 8-year-old daughter who had died saving her younger sister. And everyone is a story. Everyone is a person and a family affected. So it's sadness, and someone described it as a weakness. Everyone's feeling very tired and devastated. So let's give them some strength. I just whatever you're doing today, just take a moment and just put it out to the people in Italy who are suffering so much from this earthquake. And obviously not just Italy. We had big tornadoes in Indiana and Ohio a couple of days ago. There's been storms and tragedies all over the world. So maybe we just take a moment today to kind of be grateful for what we have and give a virtual hug to people who are dealing with challenges. So in Syria, 15 civilians were killed yesterday with a barrel bomb, which is one of these horrible bombs. It drops and then it just spreads out all over the area it hit, and it can cause devastation. And 15 civilians again were killed. And it was near a place, there was a tent where they were actually showing respects and being with people who had been killed in a previous barrel bomb just a few days ago. So I just don't know. Children and 4 others were killed in this attack a few days ago, and now again yesterday. So Syria has got some serious challenges, and I know everyone's trying to get everyone at the table and trying to talk about how to deal with this situation, but it just does seem never ending, doesn't it? So in the U.S., interesting story. Washington, or the regulators, health regulators in Washington, have urged that all blood donations be screened for the Zika virus. And this is because there's an outbreak. There are 584 pregnant women in the United States infected with Zika. This is in the U.S., not Brazil anymore. And apparently there's 812 over the whole United States territories. That's 584 in the mainland U.S. So Florida announced, I think it was about 40 cases of Zika in their local area around Miami, but it's spreading. And it's really, really an unknown disease. We really don't know what's going on with the human brain in someone that's affected. So it's a very important warning from the U.S. health regulators. And by the way, in Rio, where there was such a panic about Zika, and many sports people, stayed away from the Olympics because of it, had no reported cases of Zika. Zika, by the way, if you don't remember, is actually it's a disease borne by mosquitoes. So when a mosquito bites you, if they're infected with Zika, they infect you. And so in Rio, the mosquito season is over. It's winter now. So that's probably why it's not spreading there. But other parts of the world, including US, it is. So in France, mayors are remaining defiant. They are ignoring the ruling of the government about banning burqas on their beaches, and they're saying they still are not comfortable with them on their beaches, and they will continue to fine women who wear them. So the ruling, was basically it said that even though there was this emotion and anxiety about attacks that had happened, especially in Nice, by people claiming to be soldiers of the Islamic State, that was not enough to ban the rights of women to wear whatever clothing they wanted on the beach. So I think it's going to calm down, hopefully, but you never know. This is a very complex issue, and unfortunately, it's got a little politicized. So let's see how that turns out. In Turkey, the battle is really intensified. Turkish forces have picked up the pace of bombing on the Syrian border. The Kurdish PKK has come back and bombed a police station in Turkey, killing over 10 people. And so it's just this back and forwards between that very important border between Syria and Turkey. So we'll see how that goes. And arrests are still continuing, by the way, related to the coup in Turkey. So they are very sensitive to keeping stability and order in their country. So let's change the subject to something a little more fun. I don't know about you guys, but I love movies. I watch movies quite a bit at night just to kind of relax. And I watch kind of eclectic movies. I like Indian, Bollywood. I like from foreign films with subtitles, but I also watch the classics. And so a group called the BBC Culture, the editors of the BBC Culture group, decided they would do a little test and see from all the different film critiques around the world, what their favorite movies were in the 21st century. Now I had to check this. This is January 2001 to December 2100. Is that right? Anyway, it's just the last 20 years. So they went out, asked them to nominate their favorite movies, and there were some here that I don't even know. But I'll just tell you a couple of the ones. I'll start with number 5 because there's a list of 100. So you can go check it out and see if any of yours are on the list. But I thought, surely I've watched one of these top movies of all time, but I haven't. Maybe you have. Anyway, number 5 was a movie called Boyhood, by Richard Linklater as the director. Number 4 was Spirited Away, which I think is a Japanese film. There Will Be Blood is number 3. In the Mood for Love is number 2. And Mulholland Drive was number 1, David Lynch. Now, I know that Mulholland Drive has won all kinds of awards, and I think that I understand why that one might be number 1, but those are the top 5 movies, according to these film critics, of the 21st century, the last 16 years. So, what do you think? What are your favorite movies of the last 20 years? Let's have a little conversation about it, because none of these are even in my mind. I don't even know them, but these are the ones people voted. In fact, the only one that I recognized in the top 10 was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which was a good movie, and that was number 6. So That's it. So movies are funny. They're very personal, aren't they? They're like books. You know, you really either love or hate a movie. And it, in a way, maybe it goes to show critics are not always the the best people to ask for the best movies of all time. So I have got a little article here I want to share with you. This is kind of a personal one. Many people have asked me a little bit about myself and what I do and how I got here. But I do want to share something about experience I had when I was in Bali. And it was about getting back into my yoga practice. And when I was there, I was starting after like 20 years of not having done yoga, but I went through quite some changes and emotional moments of doubt and lack of confidence in myself. I wasn't very fit. I wasn't, in good shape. And I went through what I had experienced with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross when I worked with her many years ago on her death, dying bereavement counseling sessions. And she, of course, talks about people who go through a loss as going through 5 stages. There's grief, anger, denial, bargaining, acceptance. And as I was going through my yoga practice, I went through exactly these 5 stages. And in fact, I think it applies to just about any process that involves a change in your mindset, a transition to a new place. So anyway, I went through these 5 stages, and I just wanted to share because I think any woman who is going through a divorce, a breakup, or an exercise regime, like getting started with a new life, goes through these stages. So I'll just share my 5, and we actually have an article about this on 60andMe, so you can read it. But in a nutshell, this is what happened to me. Well, first it was absolute denial, absolute grief and anger. So the first was denial. Denial was, I cannot possibly be this out of shape. It was just like, it's just not happening. Denial. The next was anger, and that moved into, I just can't believe I'm this out of shape. How on earth did I get here? What decisions did I make in my life? I didn't do enough exercise. I didn't walk enough. It was all like, hitting myself up with, things I'd done wrong. And so it was that whole sense of frustration and anger that I went through in trying to, blame myself really for where I was. So it was that anger and frustration. The next was bargaining. And this was funny because I was in a yoga class and, I would go up to the teacher and say, I'm sorry, but I haven't done yoga in 20 years and I'm really not very fit. And he would say, and your point is? And I would say, well, go easy. Or it was just like, go easy with me and I'll be okay. It's like bargaining with someone to make this process of something different easier. And I did the bargaining chip. But that didn't work with the teachers in Bali. They just said, just show up, just do it every day, and I did. So this is, if you're walking, running, working out, this is some exercise, some advice for you. Is just show up, just do it. The next stage was depression. And this was serious because after 3 weeks, I really wasn't able to do the exercises like everyone else. I was looking around and just couldn't cross my legs properly. And I thought, this is crazy. I'm just going to go have some cheesecake. So I got really depressed and I did what you always do. I just went and had a cup of tea and a cheesecake and called my son and said, what's going on? I mean, I just am really depressed. And of course, he gave me great advice, which was to you just not look at yoga or any exercise as being a competition, just to do what I can every single day and to see every exercise, every moment of practice as a step towards, just doing the best I can. And I think that was really great advice. And, I think it helped me to just not be so judgmental about myself and to do the exercise, to do the yoga every day, just as best I could, to accept myself and to take responsibility for those decisions that I'd made earlier, for the life I had shaped, and to just get on with it, which I did. And I kind of then got to the 5th stage, which was acceptance. And I think that's the stage we all want to get to, really, isn't it? In our 60s, we've made mistakes. We've done things that we, could have done differently, better, perhaps, if we want to judge. But we didn't. And here we are. And we have to learn to accept ourselves as we are today. And so I would encourage you that if you're on any journey, whether it's yoga or walking or exercise or just changing a mindset, just follow through those stages, know where you are on that road and appreciate it, knowing that, hopefully you'll get to a point of acceptance. Oh, and by the way, you jump around these. Like I was depressed, angry at different stages. So anyway, hope that you all are, on a mission to just be the best you possibly can be in your 60s. So I hope that you're all doing well. Have a great Sunday, everyone. I would love you to tell a friend about Mornings with 60andMe. It would be really wonderful to have more women here. We're a big community, but it's great the more the merrier. And also just sign up yourself to get the news first at 60andme.com/mornings. So my question for the day, and I'll go back to the movie question because I think it's so interesting, is that please just, in the comment section below, just tell us what is your favorite movie of all time, just in your life. What is the best movie you've ever seen? And have a wonderful Sunday. Hope you have a lot of great things planned with your friends, family, or just by yourself. Have a great day. And leave a note below as to what your favorite movie of all time is. Have a conversation. So thanks for being here, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow on Mornings with 60andMe. Bye for now.